Everyone, it's me, Safari, and today we are going to learn the first chapter of class 8 physics, and that is matter. Okay, so let's start. First of all, we have terms to know, and what are the important terms? Okay, so matter, anything that has mass and occupies space. So you all have learned in chemistry also that matter has three properties. It is having mass, it occupies a specific space. Okay, so these two are the qualities of matter. So you have learned this. Okay, next, element, a substance which cannot be subdivided into two or more simpler substances by any physical or chemical means. So if you divide an element, if you go till the last of an element, that is, if you find an atom of an element and you find the same element, you compare them both, you will see they have both physical and chemical properties are same. Okay, an atom and the whole of an element, okay, are have the same physical and chemical changes. So it cannot be subdivided into two or more simpler substances, means it's only one simple substance. Okay, neither by any physical change nor by any chemical change. Now, atom, the smallest unit of an element which may or may not have an independent existence but always takes part in a chemical reaction. Now, atoms of noble gases such as argon, okay, neon, okay, radon and xenon, okay, and etc., helium, okay, they are noble gases, so they are having independent existence. Okay, these atoms are having independent existence. Moreover, atoms of metals such as gold, silver, all these are having independent existence because they are not reactive. And some atoms are having, but this gold and all, they take part in a chemical reaction. Okay, they take part in a chemical reaction. But atoms like noble gases atoms does not take part in any chemical reaction. Okay, and then you have atoms of oxygen and hydrogen. They are more reactive. They react with themselves only. They are reacting themselves with themselves to form diatomic molecules and etc. Okay. Okay. So now next we have molecules, the smallest unit of matter which can exist independently and retain the physical and chemical properties of that substance. Now, what are the differences? Now, atom is not having an independent existence. Maybe it is having, or maybe not. Okay, difference is number one, and it's always having an independent existence. Okay, and now atom always takes part in a chemical reaction. A molecule barely takes part in a chemical reaction. This is also a point to be noted. And the molecule possesses the physical and chemical compounds of elements as well as compounds, while atoms retain the physical chemical properties of only an element and not a compound. Okay, so I hope you understand the differences very well. Okay, atoms join to form molecules. Okay, so forces of cohesion and adhesion. Now today we will learn about two forces, force of cohesion and adhesion. Now what are they? Okay, so what is the force of cohesion? The force of attraction that exists between similar kinds of molecules. Suppose the molecules of iron and the molecule of another iron. Okay, it's the force of cohesion. Okay, and force of adhesion, the force of attraction that exists between the different molecules, different types of molecules. So now I am giving you an example. The force of adhesion, an example. Okay, so suppose your teacher is writing in the blackboard with chalk. Okay, and so the molecules present in the chalk and the molecules present in the blackboard are having force of adhesion, and therefore you can write it out. And I will say it's similar to the force of friction also. Okay, so no, like frictional force is one type of force of adhesion only. Okay, we can think it can be a force of cohesion also. Okay, now all the forces fall in these two kinds of, this is just another group. Okay, on the basis of similar kinds of molecules or different kinds of molecules. Okay, they're just another group. They're not contact and non-contact. It's not coming on that. They're just another group. Okay, now we have intermolecular distances also. The distance between the molecules of a substance is known as intermolecular distances. Okay, you'll know all this. Okay, so changes of state. the change from of a state of a substance from one physical state to another on applying heat or by removing heat. At this point, melting or fusion, the process in which change of state from the solid to the liquid on absorption of heat. Now just wait a minute. They're not giving triangle also. Just a minute, all of you. Take this one, this line, okay, and then take another line, okay. Barely a triangle I am drawing, okay. Make sure you get the triangle. Now, now I have drawn a triangle. Now we have to follow this triangle only till class 10. Write in top solid, liquids and gases. Okay. Now see, follow the triangle now. Okay. Now here over here, suppose it's changing, melting or fusion, the process of which involves the state of solid, state from solid to liquid on absorption of heat. So what is happening? It is going down on absorption of heat. So let's mark it with red color. Okay, we'll mark in sky and red because blue is already with us. Okay, so we'll mark in dark blue. Okay, we'll mark in dark blue. So this one is red. Okay, and so this is melting. Okay, now melting point, the temperature at which the solid melts into liquid into a liquid state. Now you will see that at some point of temperature, which is the melting point, you are applying it, but still in the thermometer the temperature is not increasing. So that's the melting point. In that time, the solid melts into liquid. Okay. Now freezing or solidification. Okay, the process in which the liquid changes into solid. You all know it very well. Okay, liquid changes into solid state. Now what is freezing? You can take it up till there. Okay, right? From liquid to solid we are bringing it down. Now what is freezing point? Similar thing. The temperature in which the liquid changes into solid state. Okay, now for water, the melting point and the freezing point is 0 degrees Celsius. Now boiling and evaporation. Just a minute. Now boiling and evaporation will take the red color obviously because it's heating. So the process that involves a change of state from liquid to vapor by absorption of heat is known as boiling or evaporation. So what is happening? Liquid to vapor. Vapor is also another name for gas. So liquid to vapor, therefore we can call it as boiling. Okay, boiling or vaporization. Now what is the boiling point? The temperature into which the liquid changes into gaseous state is known as boiling point. Okay, now I have to again draw the triangle. So hectic to draw a triangle one and again. Okay, so let's write sol. No, it will not work like that. So let's write solid. Okay, solid, liquid and gas. So again, now what can we term as boiling? We have termed already. Now condensation. Okay. Now see, condensation is from gaseous state to liquid state. So we can mark over here condensation, and obviously by cooling. Okay. Now evaporation I am coming later on. Now let's complete condensation point. So the temperature at which gas changes into liquid state is known as condensation point. I have already taught you how to find the melting point, vaporize a boiling point and all that. Okay. When you see when you see it's heating but the temperature is not changing, then you will guess that yes, it's the boiling point or something, condensation, whatever change of state it's taking place. Okay, like that. Now sublimation, the process in which the substance changes from a solid state into a gaseous state without changing into a liquid state. So it's not passing through the liquid state only. Some substances are like that also. Okay, so what is that? From solid to gas directly. Okay, and obviously on heating. Okay. Deposition, the process of change into gas into solid state without passing to the liquid state. Obviously by cooling, so we can write it over here. No, it's not passing to the liquid state. Some substances like naphthalene, or you may know camphor, okay, or you may just come across ammonium chloride, okay, and all these things are sublimates, okay, they are called, okay. So I hope you understood everything about this. Let's go back to our original color, or you would like to stay in this color, whatsoever, okay. So at a glance, now just a moment. Now matter is made up of various elements combined in different proportion, okay. So matter is of various elements which are combined in different proportion, okay. Now the basic unit of human body or contents of cells like elements like hydrogen, carbon, oxygen and phosphorus, which are only made of atoms, okay, which are only made of atoms, okay. Now this is not molecules. It is difficult to see molecules even with the help of a powerful microscope. Now think how much small it is, okay. Now you have to learn this theory very well, kinetic theory, okay, kinetic theory of matter. So now what it is telling us, according to the kinetic theory of matter, matter is composed of a large number of small particles called atoms or molecules, and they are in constant motion. So it's known as kinetic. Kinetic means moving, okay. So the main postulates of kinetic theory of matter are: matter is made up of atoms and molecules. Now you may take a screenshot. I'll put time for you, okay. Now concentrate, okay. Matter is made up of atoms or molecules, okay. Molecules are always continuously in random motion. Now molecules are always vibrating. In solids they are minimum, in liquids they are more than solid but lesser than gases, and in gases they are maximum, okay. Now molecules, they possess kinetic energy, which is a direct measure of the temperature of the substances. See, now kinetic energy in this case is directly proportional to temperature of a body. So more the temperature, more the kinetic energy, less the temperature, less the kinetic energy, okay. So the molecules of matter always exert an attractive force on each other, which is called intermolecular force. It is of two types, namely the force of cohesion and the force of adhesion. So these are of the molecules of matter. So these are an attractive type, okay. So the intermolecular force of attraction is inversely proportional to the intermolecular distance. I have already told in the junior classes, okay. So the force of attraction is inversely proportional to the distance. Always you know this, force is equal to 1 by r square. So therefore always like that. Also same case in molecules also you have. Now take out your cameras and all and screenshot this up, okay. This 5 points you need to learn, 1 2 3 4 5, okay. This 5 points, okay, you need to learn for kinetic theory of molecules, okay. So I hope you have finished. Now solids have the smallest intermolecular distance between the molecules and the strongest intermolecular force of attraction among its molecules. So I hope you understand, okay. These are only the examples, okay. The molecules of solid are bound together and therefore they have fixed shape, fixed size and fixed volume. So their kinetic energy is not much, and therefore they're only vibrating on their mean position, but their position remains constant. So they are having fixed shape, fixed size and fixed volume. Due to the strong molecular attraction between the molecules, solids expand very little on heating and do not flow, okay, because of their strong attraction, okay. Now the solids are hard and rigid, although some solids like metals can be beaten into thin sheets, okay. Now these are exceptions, but generally solids are hard and rigid and they are brittle also. Now what we have learnt in case of liquids. Liquids have intermediate intermolecular distances between the particle and intermediate intermolecular force of attraction among the molecules, okay. So you have understood already, it's inversely proportional in this case also. So the molecules of liquid are loosely packed and are not fixed at the position and they can move freely, okay. So the molecules of liquid are very very loosely packed. They are not fixed in their positions and therefore they flow, they can move freely, okay. Liquids do not have a fixed shape and take the shape of the container into which they are poured in, because they vibrate a little bit more than solids. They are not in their mean positions. Okay. Now, due to weak molecular attraction between the molecules, liquids expand on heating. Okay. Now we come to gases. Now, gases are the highest intermolecular distance between the molecules and the weakest intermolecular force of attraction among the molecules. So, as usual, inversely proportional. So, the molecules of gases are very loosely packed and are not fixed at their position and can move independent of each other and show continuous zigzag motion throughout. So, they are more independent and they can move in a zigzag motion and they can fill the whole room. Okay, they can diffuse very easily. All these are due to this. Okay, gases neither have a fixed shape nor a fixed volume. Okay, they diffuse very easily. Due to weak intermolecular attraction between the molecules, gases can be compressed into large extent and expand a lot on heating and are not at all rigid. Okay, so they can be compressed because they have a lot of space between the molecules. Okay, when heat is supplied to matter, the energy of the molecules increases and they start vibrating vigorously. Okay, so as the temperature increases, the kinetic energy also increases. Okay, I have already written the equation. Now, during the process of evaporation, liquid absorbs heat from the surroundings, which causes cooling effect. Okay, evaporation is actually absorbing heat from surroundings. It does not need a heat source. Okay, and therefore we feel cooling effect. Examples: when sweat is absorbed when we have sweat, we feel cool because of evaporation of sweat is taking place in our body. Now, molecular arrangement of liquid. See very carefully. Now, this can come in your exams also, which I am going to take. Now, condensation. Now, you can perform this experiment if you need so. Okay, take some ice cubes in a glass and leave them at room temperature for some time. You will notice water droplets on the outer walls of the glass. Okay, this happens because water vapor present in the air is coming on contact with the cold surface of the glass and thus gets condensed to form water droplets. Thus, condensation is a process in which the substance in vapor or gaseous state changes into liquid state at a constant temperature. The constant temperature at which condensation takes place is known as the condensation point of the substance. Now, boiling point and condensation point are most of the substances are very equal. Okay, almost equal. They are only equal only. For water also, both are 100 degrees Celsius. And now you don't need to perform this experiment. Okay, because many of you, okay, almost all of you have seen that when in the summertime you take out bottles from your fridge, and then what do you see? Droplets of water on their outer surface. So now you have learnt why is it so. Now see, gases are moving vigorously. So this is the molecular arrangement. Okay, solids, see, they're tightly packed and they vibrate in their mean position. Okay, now this graph you need to understand, so let me go a little slower. Just a moment. Now see this graph. Okay, let's come to this graph later. So let's read the paragraph first. Let's understand this to study the change in the state of ice. Some ice at minus 20 degrees Celsius was taken in the starting representation of point A on the graph. So did you notice point A on the graph? Okay, it's this one. Okay, so ice at minus 20 degree, you can see over here minus 20 degree is also given beside A. Okay, over here. So some ice is being taken in this point of time. Okay, now when it is heated, its temperature starts rising. Now obviously it will start rising, right? When you heat a thing, what will it happen? Obviously it start rising, and see the graph is also rising. Okay, because the temperature is also rising out. Okay, so now wait, the graph is also rising up, so temperature is also rising up. Okay, so shown by the point B, when the melting point, which is the melting point of ice, 0 degree. Okay, point B over here. When the ice is heated further, it used the heat energy supplied to it in breaking the intermolecular forces which hold the molecules together. This resulted of the ice into water at 0 degree shown by point C. Still you have it in 0 degree Celsius. Follow the graph very carefully. Still you have it in 0 degree Celsius, right? So where is the heat going? Why is the temperature not increasing? Because this heat which is supplied to the ice is taking it to break the intermolecular forces which hold it together. Okay. Now note that there is no rising temperature from B to C. Now when more heat was supplied to this water at 0 degree Celsius, the temperature started rising again until it reached 100 degrees Celsius. Now see again, the temperature is rising and water is being formed over here, okay, in liquid state, and it is going till 100 degrees Celsius, and where you have point D. Okay. Now where the water start boiling. Okay. Now this is the boiling point of water, 100 degrees Celsius, you know. Now when the water is heated further, it started changing into steam by using the heat energy to break the force of attraction between the molecules. Now see, this amount of energy, heat energy, is consumed to from the water to turn into water vapor. And where is it used? In breaking the intermolecular forces. Okay. So therefore the temperature remain constant in D to E. Okay, see, from D to E the temperature is remaining constant. Okay. At point E, water changes completely into steam at 100 degrees Celsius. When the temperature is decreased, the steam releases heat and the water drops till it reaches the boiling point. Now see, okay, till E it's having the constant temperature, and then it's forming steam. And then again if you do condensation, then it will again fall down, okay, till E, okay, which is there in 100 degrees Celsius, okay, till 100 degrees Celsius, which is the condensation point. Now when the temperature decreases, the steam releases heat and further the water liberates energy. Its temperature falls down till its freezing point, and then the entire water freezes to ice. The same thing happens in this case also. It's falling down, it's coming over here. Temperature remains constant in making the intermolecular forces of attraction again, so that it can hold them together. Again it is falling down, and again at 0 degrees Celsius it's making the intermolecular forces. Okay, and then it goes to 20 degree. Okay, it freezes into ice. Interconversation of states of matter. This was what I drew to you in the formula of the chapter. So we know that matter exists in 3 states, namely solid, liquid and gases. Now on supplying heat to the substance, the molecules gain energy and then started vibrating vigorously. This leads to a change in the state of matter. Similarly, the energy is decreased when heat is liberated by matter, and there the molecules comes closer. This also leads to the change of state of matter. You all know all this. The change of substance from one physical state to another is known as change of state. It's an example is given here. Let's consider the example of an ice cube. Heating an ice cube results in expansion as excited molecules to take up more space. We continue to heat, it melts into water. Further, if we keep on supplying more heat, the water will turn into steam. So we can conclude that when supply of heat to matter, its molecules gain energy and start vibrating vigorously. Due to this, the change of state of matter takes place. Okay, so this was our video, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.